So we can draw a table. For the size of the bob, that is D, the time for 20 vibration and time for 1 vibration. D is in millimeter, I guess. Just a minute. Centimeter. So D is in centimeter. So when they mention table with a column heading, so you have to write the unit. Time in seconds and time period also in seconds. The next part, they're asking, how would you use your readings to reach the conclusion? Like how we can conclude in physics, when you want a conclusion, when you want to find a relation between the two quantities, what you can do, you can plot a graph. The best thing, like comparison can be done, but as you're a student studying physics, so your answer should be precise. To write a precise answer, what you can mention plot a graph between the diameter on x-axis or time period on y-axis, or it can be vice versa, other way around. You don't have to sketch a graph, you just mention that plot a graph, because these are the two quantities which we are finding the effect. To work out relation between the two quantities. You don't have to say what is the relation, because you are not doing the experiment, you are just planning an experiment. But practically, the time period of a pendulum is only affected by length. Even changing a diameter, changing the mass, changing the material will not affect the time period. For any diameter, I will get the same time period. Practically, it will come out like this. But again, I repeat, you don't have to sketch a graph here. You don't have to mention what will be the shape of the graph. You just have to mention that we can plot a graph between time period on y-axis and the diameter on x-axis and find a relation between the two quantities. In the table, reason why I have three columns, because what I did, this is a diameter, the small t is a time for 20 vibrations. So diameter was in centimeter, small t is actually a time for 20 vibration, and capital T is time for one vibration. So how we'll get this capital T? It will be total time divided by number of the vibration. That's why three columns were there. So this is a 7-mark question. The planning of experiment. A student is determining the weight of a load using a balance method. Figure 4.1 shows the apparatus used. So we have P and Q and we are using a balancing method. The student places a meter rule on a pivot and adjusts the position so that the meter rule as near as possible to being balanced. So meter rule is balanced with the loads are placed on it. He places a load P on the meter rule so that its center is exactly 30 centimeter mark. So this one is 30 centimeter mark. He records the distance between between P and the pivot, which is 19.8. He places a load Q, which is 1 Newton, on the meter rule and adjusts so that the meter rule is as near possible being balanced. He measures a distance. He repeats the procedure with a load P on 30 centimeter Q with 2 Newton, 3, 4 and 5 and so on. For each of the value of Q, calculate 1 over Q and record in the table. we have the q. What will be 1 over q? Means 1 divided by 1, 1 divided by 2, 1 divided by 3. So what is the first? 1 divided by 1 will be 1.
1.
What about the second one? 1 divided by 2?
0.5.
0.5. Then
0.33.
0.33.
0.25.
0.25.
0.2.
0.2. But when I complete a table, my table should have equal number of significant figure. So how I can have equal number of significant figure? Like
Around.
either use the same number of decimal places, so 1.00, same number of decimal, significant figure might not be same, but when you complete a table, you should use equal number of decimal places. Like as you can see here, they use equal or same decimal places for all. Even they can write 1, but they did not write 1, they wrote 1.0. It means, and they make it more accurate result or greater significant figures. So even though this answer was like 0.5, but I wrote 0.50, and the last answer was 0.2, but I wrote 0.20. Plot a graph of b on y-axis against 1 over q on x-axis. So first b is on y-axis. What are the values of b? The maximum value is 40 and the minimum value is 7.5. So I have to select a scale so I can have these values, the number. So maximum I can have 40. So example, if this was 10, 20, 30, 40. And this one is b, which is in centimeter. Then what about 1 over q? The value of the 1 over q were, this was 1, the maximum was 1 and the minimum was 0.2. So what I need, a maximum I need 1. So if I select 0.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then it will not be accurate because I need a 1 also, the maximum number. If I select 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8 and 1, then it can be like this is 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, 1.0 and then 1.2. 1.2 is not there, but according to the, this one is origin 0 and 0. Now what we have to do, we have to plot these results on the grid. When this is 40 and 1, so 40 and 1, it will be here. Then 19.5, B was 19.5 and this was 0.5. 19.5 and 0.5. 0.5 and 19.5. So each box is representing 1. So between 19 and 20, I will get 19.5. Then 13.5 and 3. Not 3 because it is 1 over q, so 0.33. So 0.33, each box is representing 0 on x-axis, each box is representing 0.02. So this is 0.22, 0.24, 0.26, 0.28, 0.30, 0.22, 0.24, 0.26, 0.28, 0.33, 0.32 and 0.34. So between them will be 0.33. 13.5 and 0.33. So 11, 12, 13, 13.5. So somewhat here in between them, then 0.25, 10.5 and 0.25. So 0.22, 0.24. So between them, somewhat here between, and what's the last value? 7.5 and 0.2. So 0.2 and 7.5. So what we will do, we'll draw a best fit straight line. A best fit straight line means the best fit here refers to number of the points above and below the lines are same. That's why we call that as a best fit. Now in the question they're asking, determine the gradient and show clearly on your graph. So you have to find the gradient and show clearly on your graph. So to find the gradient, you will mark 2 points, but the distance between the 2 points should be 5 centimeter for accuracy. When points appear to be scattered a bit, then best fit straight line is there. If points maybe the points will come on, all the points will be in same line. But the meaning of best fit straight line, always your graph should be a best fit straight line. That if your number of points above and below should be same. So what you will do, like example, this value is 38.5 and this was 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.5. This is 0.4 and this was 0.8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 8, 9, 0, 9, 2 and 9, 4. So that will be 0.94. So we have these values. The formula to get the gradient, it is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And you have to show this on your graph. This is having a marks like drawing the lines, marking the point. So this one is y2, y1, x1, x2. 38.5 minus 15.5 divided by 0.94 minus 0.4. What's the final answer? When you 42.6.
Sir, this is a straight line. Can't we just divide the y-axis by x-axis?
But if it is starting from origin, then y quantity on y-axis divide by quantity on x-axis. But I did not complete this to the origin. Like when you
Yeah.
plot your graph and you extend your line and your graph is starting from origin, then take the quantity on y-axis divided by quantity on x. That can be done because actually that is also a same method, but in that one we
Yeah, because it is
consider
0.
the origin, we consider like y1 and x1 as to be 0.
Yeah. Okay.
So 42.6 is the answer for this. And then calculate the weight P gradient divided by A. So 42.6 divided by A, and value of A they give 19.8. So 19.8. What's the answer? Now what will be the one more thing? What will be the units of the gradient? The units of the gradient is always the quantity on y-axis divided by quantity on x-axis. So which quantity was there on y-axis? Centimeter. And which quantity was there on x-axis? That is 1 over q or 1 over Newton. So what will be the unit of the gradient? The quantity on y-axis divided by quantity on x-axis. On y-axis I have centimeter, on x-axis I have 1 over Newton. So centimeter divided by 1 over Newton. When I change this division into multiplication, so centimeter, this will become reciprocal. It was actually centimeter Newton or Newton centimeter. So here the value of the gradient, which was 42.6 Newton centimeter. And then we need value of a G, value of the P, which is G. G is 42.6 Newton centimeter divided by 19.8 centimeter. So centimeter will cancel with centimeter. What is the answer for this? 2.15 newtons. Is it clear? The student measured the weight P of a load using a force meter. Figure 4.2 shows the force meter. Write down the reading of P. What it appear the reading? What is the value of the weight for the object? It is 1.9. So this is 1.9, and the previous value. The student carry out the experiment with care and expecting the two values to be same. Suggest two reasons why the value might be different. Like student using a force meter, he's getting 1.9 Newton, and using the balancing method as we did, we were getting 2.15. So practically the two values, it should be same, but it's not coming out same. What could be the reason, the sources of the error here? So what could be the errors when we list out? Yeah, these are many things are there, many possibilities. So for balancing experiment, what could be the errors in balancing experiment? Number one, difficult to because we have to measure a distance from the center of the load. So difficult to identify the exact center of the loads. That is one thing. And second thing, it is also difficult, like if you have a ruler or a scale and you place a pivot underneath and try to do balancing, this ruler will topple many times. So it is difficult to balance the object, balance the ruler, meter rule, when load is placed on it. So that is a practically difficult thing to do, and that may lead to an error. Second thing, difficult to identify the center of these object P and Q, because we have to measure a distance from the center. So if this is a rectangular object or a cube, exact position of a center, it's difficult to say when you are looking at the experiment. Another thing, as you mentioned, like spring might deform, that is right, or permanently deform, or the value, if it's permanently deformed, that even if there is no load placed on it, it will not start from origin. It may start more than origin or above, like higher value from zero. Many possible are there. So difficult to balance the meter rule. When load is placed on it, difficult to find the center of the mass of the loads. Then force meter, like spring in the force meter may deform, or there's a zero error in the force meter. Zero error in the force meter means like there is maybe some values there in a force meter. which we did not consider when there is no load placed on it. Is it clear, the last part?